today we want to dive into the nitty-gritty and actually see how sleep impacts our day-to-day life. And today we're actually going to be focusing specifically on fitness. And what better way than interviewing a professional weightlifter themselves and Olympian, Caine Wilkes. Thank you so much for being here today. Let's go back to the very beginning. Tell us how you got involved in weightlifting and your journey.
Weightlifting has been part of me and my family's life for a long time now. I've been lifting for close to 25 years now. My dad's been my coach. I remember having a conversation with my dad after a training session. I wanted to set a goal. Didn't want to just be second and third. Really wanted to make that push for first place.
And then what was that moment for you when you officially got that podium, that top spot? How did that feel for you?
It was a big deal. It was my first national championship was actually a senior national championship. It felt really good to hit that accomplishment after so many years and just being that persistent to accomplish that goal. Unbeknownst to me, when I won that national championship, my total was enough to qualify me for the world team that year. That kind of put me in talks of for the 2016 Olympics, qualifying for that. And I did make a run for that, came up a little short that time. It was a lot about consistency and making lifts. So went to the competitions, hit what I needed to hit, and for the Tokyo Olympics, I ended up being one of the 4 men we sent to the Olympics.
That's amazing. Okay, so let's talk about the Tokyo Olympics. Walking there for the first time was a very surreal moment. You were like, OMG, I am at the Olympics right now.
I remember stepping on the platform for the first time for introductions, where everyone walks out and waves to the crowd right before lifting, and stepping on that stage and seeing the Olympic rings painted on that platform, it just kind of hit me like, wow, this is the lifetime goal here.
So I want to go back and talk about sleep and how sleep's affected you throughout your training process throughout your entire life. But first I want to start the night before you were at the Olympics. You could tell me if I'm wrong, but I doubt you got any sleep that night. How did you feel the night before?
Yeah, I got a little bit of sleep, but yeah, not a lot. Before every meet, probably don't get as much sleep as I would want. It's probably a little bit of the pre-competition jitters, nerves with sleep. It's been very important. I think for me, I'll notice when I don't get good sleep, or when I have a bout of bad sleep. I'll notice that more than when I get good sleep, just because I think how much it helps. You don't realize how much it helps. USA Weightlifting brought on a sleep doctor in preparation for the Tokyo Olympics. So he was there to help me, but he was also there to help the rest of the team too, in the lead up for Tokyo. For most of us, it was mostly conversations about sleep hygiene, And then I started around the same time to have really bad bout of bad sleep. I just wasn't sleeping very well. I was waking up a lot in the middle of the night. And it was very much it was having an impact on my training, but it was also just having an impact on my day-to-day life, where I was just I was feeling very scatterbrained, just having trouble coming up with coherent thoughts sometimes. And that was that had me a little bit where I was like, okay, maybe I need to talk to my sleep doctor a little bit about what I can do to correct this some. And he, had another talk with him, set me up with a sleep test where I think they gauge you on, what is it, mild, moderate, or severe levels of apnea, sleep apnea. And I think I was just over the limit into moderate. So after talking with him, he set me up with the CPAP and everything, and it was like, takes a little bit of time to get used to that. But once, the first night, I remember that I actually got like a long rest with it, using the CPAP. I don't even think it was a full night, like I got 4 hours, but I was just so much more rested than I had been in like the months prior. It was definitely a game changer. I'm much more mindful of how it can impact. I think a lot of athletes at my level and coaches will always say that sleep is like the best and cheapest recovery tool you can have. And at the level of competing that I've been at, you really want to take advantage of every tool you can. And sleep is like one of the easiest things you can do and work on.
Now let's talk about some of those tools, besides just sleep in general, that you get on a day-to-day. So in terms of, let's talk about just your mattress preferences.
The mattress we had at the time was just like a hand-me-down. I found out both for like athletes and larger people in general, a little bit more support, like a firm mattress would be best. Kind of like the CPAP machine, it was a bit of a game changer. Just more consistent sleep. I don't wake up as often.
Did you win a medal at the Olympics?
I did not. I got a top 10 finish. I finished 9th place, which is the highest placement I got at like an international level. You get in the habit as an elite level lifter of every meet, you just kind of like, there's nerves and excitement for it, but you kind of get used to it. But making the Olympic team, like, because it's your dream for so long, getting there, it's a much more emotional experience than I was ready for. After my last lift, I remember going off the platform and just like started to sob, just because of the emotion. And my dad was the opposite. He was getting choked up at the start of it. And then at the end, he was like, okay. So he's like, we're having to console each other at different points. It hits everyone a little differently, but it's a very emotional experience. And people tell you that, like the veterans that had been there before, they told me that, and I was like, I don't know, but it is. It really is.
And you get to brag now. Not that many people can brag saying they were at the Olympics. So you can brag about that. So what is next for you? What does your training look like now? Do you have future goals that you would love to hit? Or right now, are you just loving life and being a married man? Well,
I would say definitely regardless, I am loving life. I've been in the sport long enough. I think I'm ready to kind of shift gears and prioritize some things differently. My wife and I would like to start a family, so I think that's the main thing. If the opportunity arises to compete here and there, I'll definitely take the opportunity, but for now, the main goal is just to train, stay in shape, and keep loving life.
Well, Caine, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much for educating all of our viewers out there about all things sleep, your sleep hygiene, your sleep story, and we're excited to see where your future journey will take you.
Thanks, Nichole.